Now we're going.
Yeah!
Yeah, we're doing it now.
We're in your home, we're in your head. Lock the doors and close the blinds. Turn on your TV, turn off your mind.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, that too.
That too. We are Soul of a Gamer.
Soul of a Gamer.
And we are here to talk to you about rape and murder and horrible things.
And cake.
And cake.
Yeah.
Especially cake.
Especially cake.
There is cake, but it is a lie.
Don't tell people that.
So, last week we played The Force Unleashed. And we hope you liked
Yes.
that episode and my ranting about how bad that game was.
And me trying to salvage what is there that's okay.
So, this week we're playing Portal, but every week we play a game.
Yes.
And we tell you about that game. It's all about experiences, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, our review of the game. We give you a little bit in-depth story, kind of going through gameplay mechanics, all that stuff. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, and we're hoping you like our new kind of structure. If you could give us any feedback or whether you do like this structure or any other kind of segments you want us to add, or any other gameplays or games you want us to add.
Oh, for sure. Just give us a comment, a like, a subscribe, whatever.
Yeah.
So now that that's out of the way, let's get right into the game.
Yes, so let's go into gameplay and mechanics.
Well, so normally we'd start this out with back to box.
Yeah,
but again,
that's
this is
true.
another game with a shit back to the box. It's just like, play Portal, the sweet new game.
play this game that's got all these awards and blah blah blah, and how creative and puzzling it is. And
Right?
Yeah,
it's just a stupid fucking. They just do so matter of fact with some of these back of the boxes that they're just not worth bringing up. Like they're just not worth
that's
saying.
true. Yeah,
So I think every time it's just matter of fact, we won't do it.
yeah, we'll kind of just make fun of it like we are right now, and then we'll
Yeah.
just move on and go. How does it play?
How does it play? Okay,
So gameplay and mechanics for this game.
this game is fucking amazing.
Oh my
There's
God.
nothing wrong with the
The
gameplay mechanics.
innovations
Oh.
of this game. No game was ever like this, or ever has been like
Yeah.
this since this game came out.
You know, and
this
this-
game came out in 2007, by the way.
Yeah, 2000, and it feels like it came out way earlier. Like
Yeah,
it really does.
seriously.
It's just because the Half-Life, I think, Half-Life
Yeah.
came out way earlier. But this game is just so much fun. The mechanics are great. The portals are awesome.
Oh,
like,
yes.
and this is my first time ever playing this game. I've never played this game before.
What?
Yeah, never. This is
What?
the first time. So going through like for 2007, especially since Force Unleashed
Yeah.
came out the same fucking year.
A
like,
year later.
yeah. Oh, even a
Yeah,
year later.
later,
So,
later.
Like literally, this game just blows it out of the water with
by
its mechanics.
far.
The movement's amazing. The jumping's good. Like
Yeah.
everything is just so perfect in this game. They did such a good job. Like I have nothing bad to say about
Especially
the
for how
mechanics.
simple, like it's both simple and elegant at the exact same
Yeah.
time. Like everything about this game
Very
is like
smooth.
so smart, so witty. Like I just love this game so much.
So the gameplay in this mechanics is basically you have a portal gun and you're using that to solve puzzles. You can't use the portal gun on everything,
No.
only certain walls. Which in the second game, I know the second game. I've watched it, played it, I haven't played it myself.
God, the second one's so much
I
harder.
know why now that why the walls are the only things that can be used. But you can only use these special walls to send portals, and your goal is to like solve puzzles in each level, and then your end goal is to get out of the
Yeah.
area you're in.
And a lot of the puzzles in this game are physics based, they're momentum based,
Yeah.
they're really just like you kind of have to think outside of the box in some of these.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have to jump through this to jump through that to jump through this, and then it can launch me that way.
Yeah, while I press this button, I have 30 seconds to get this done. Let's do it.
It's a lot of timing. It's a lot
Yeah.
of just thinking. It's a lot of trying, and you don't have a lot of like health or anything. So when you're fighting things like the turrets and stuff in this game, you have to really be careful of how you interact with them and how you go around them, and you have to be really creative. And you can be as creative as you want in any aspect of this, which is the coolest part of it.
Yeah, and that is really cool about this is you go through and you. So there is only one way to solve a puzzle.
Yes.
Really, there is only one
Yes.
way, but it doesn't feel that way.
No.
Like it honestly feels like there's 1,000 ways to solve it, and you pick the best one. Going through the turrets, I hated the turrets, but there's one
Yes.
level in there where you fucking kill like 8 turrets by going through all the walls.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of these things, like even on the things that you get annoyed by, you end up just it's got so much charm to the things that are annoying that you just like, God, I fucking love this.
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean, it's not a hard puzzle to solve ever. It's not like an impossible puzzle. It can feel overwhelming at
I
times.
will say the second one is a billion times harder.
Is it?
It is so much harder.
Yeah.
It's hard to figure out. Like, I've had to, like, I haven't even completed the second one. I'm at like the second to last level on the second one.
Nice.
But seriously, like the momentum and stuff challenges you have to do in the second one are so much harder, so much more time consuming.
Because this game took us 2 hours to beat.
Yes.
This is literally nothing.
No, the second one I've probably put in 6 hours and I still haven't beaten it.
Well, that's good. At least they got it more.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's seriously like you have to be way more inventive, and it's a lot harder to solve the puzzles.
Yeah.
Like I have to look up like almost every other puzzle in the second one.
In this one, like literally, I needed no help. They're so straightforward.
Easy.
They're so simple, which it could be a bad thing. But in this one, it didn't feel simple or straightforward. You had to like sit there for maybe a couple minutes to figure out exactly what to do, but you got it. Like normally, you'd get it really fast.
Yeah.
You start out, you get like one half of the portal gun,
yes,
and then you complete puzzles to get the other half.
Yes,
which I thought, because I've only seen the second gameplay, I thought like, oh shit, so you only get to use one half of the portal? That's lame.
And the other half's just a fixed thing, or it's
that's what I thought at first, but then you get the other half, and I was like, oh okay, I get it now.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I do, like, replaying it, I think this is the fourth time I've played through this game, actually. Replaying it again, I was so annoyed until I got the second part of the portal gun, just because, like, I just want both halves. Just give it to me.
Some of the things you have to do in this game is there's these balls that fly around, that explode if it hits a wall too many times. You have to get that into, like, a keyhole, basically.
Yes.
And that'll open up a door or make a platform raise or something like that. You have to activate these lifts that go around, again, by the ball thing. You'll have to press buttons at certain points.
Or you have to put, you can pick up these companion cubes, and you can put them down on buttons and stuff if you need to stand on a separate button.
And it's a lot cubes are funny too, because it's like your best friend or something.
Yeah. There are other failed experiments that haven't made it.
Yeah. You go through this, and we'll get that into the story and stuff, but a lot of the mechanics are just like, press this button, put a cube on this button, get this ball in this hole.
Yeah, as far as like gameplay mechanics go, this is one of the simplest gameplay mechanics of all time, and it's still like
very
one of the best. Yeah. It's so clean.
Yeah. And then the characters in this, which we'll get into the dialogue, but the characters are just so good.
Oh yeah,
they're so good. But that's pretty much it for mechanics.
Yeah, there's
like,
not
the mechanics
much
are very simple. So
let's go into Are We Jammin'?
Are We Jammin'? So the music, the music in this game is not like amazing.
It's not too precedent.
No.
Like, the best song is the song at the end
of the
which
game. Yeah.
We'll talk probably more once we get to that.
Well, I mean, we can just mention.
I guess we could.
Yeah, we're in the right section for it.
Yeah.
So it's a funny song called
I'm Still Alive.
Yeah. And it's sung by the main character, who we can talk about because that's So Gladys is the person who wakes you up. So as it turns out. Well, I guess we'll get into that with story. Gladys is like this computer person, but her dialogue in this game, especially in the second game, it's fucking hilarious. But in the first one, it's really funny too. She's got this like really funny voice. She comes in and she says really like, well, you do this and you might die, but please don't die.
We are not watching you in this segment. Just kidding. We were watching you the entire time.
we are not watching you. And then at the end, well, we were watching you the entire time. We told you a lie.
Yep.
It's just.
I promise I will not lie to you
or
ever
the famous
again
line
this entire segment.
Yeah. The best is the cake thing. If you make it to the end, there will be cake.
Yep.
And that's like one of the cake is a lie is one of the most iconic things said now for
which
video
we'll
games.
talk about that once we get into the story a little bit more too.
But this dialogue in this game is you don't say a fucking word.
Nope.
You are a silent protagonist.
Which is funny. There's 3 people credited as voice actors for this game, and only 3. It's Gladys, and she also voiced the turrets.
Yep.
And
the turrets are funny too.
There is technically a voice actor for the main character, which I don't know if she ever says anything or if it's just her like grunting when she falls.
It might be
good.
I'm guessing it's the grunts.
And then
I don't think she says anything.
I forgot what the other voice was. I think it was just like another person doing like random noises or something. So like there's like nothing as far as voice acting in this besides Gladys. Gladys is the one and only voice. It's kind of like playing like the Stanley Parable and it's just having the narrator.
But Gladys is really good. She carries the whole game. Like, it's crazy. Her
So
dialogue
well.
is so fucking good. And the last song, guys, just you got to spend the whole time listening because the last song is so fucking good.
It's so good.
It's so much fun. Like, they
You know how good it is?
how good?
It was actually put in Rock Band.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
It was a DLC song that you could
I want
add.
to do it for karaoke. It's so fucking much fun. It's such a fun song. And we'll get into it when we get into the story a little bit more, why she's singing it. But like, if you get through this whole game and then you just fucking skip the credits, you're an asshole. Listen to the fucking credit song because it's just so beautiful.
I might add the song to this video
Yeah.
just so people can hear it if you
Yeah.
haven't heard it.
And then it's just like the Doki Doki song at the end with her
Yeah.
singing. Like, it's such a good song. You're like, okay, I get it.
And it recaps like so much of everything that happened.
Yeah.
And it's just, it really is so
Yeah.
fantastic.
So yeah, the dialogue in this game is just really good. You get some iconic lines. You get some funny things said.
Oh, yeah.
Which
I
this
think
might be a shorter episode just because this game's 2 hours long.
it's going to be a shorter episode
So
for sure.
we're done with dialogue, I think, unless you have anything.
I think the only other thing that I think is funny with the dialogue is the turrets have really funny dialogue.
Oh, they do.
Like when you pick up, it's like, hey, put me down.
Put me down.
Or when you throw one, it's
Yeah.
like, ow, why would you do that?
Why would you you're behind a wall and he's like, I see you. And then you like move a little bit and he's like, I have completely lost him.
Yep.
It's like the funniest fucking dialogue. The turrets are so funny. They're not even a main thing in the game. They're just
No,
fucking
and they're
hilarious.
only for a couple of missions,
Yeah.
but it's so perfect. I don't know why, but I just,
Yeah.
this is so good. Like,
Yeah.
But
So that's it for the dialogue pretty much. So we're
So,
going to move into
story time.
story time. So the story of this game is crazy.
Yes.
You wake up in like a cube.
Yes.
And you've been in cryo sleep, I assume, or like some
Yeah,
kind of like
because there was like a cryo chamber
Yeah.
or something in there, and then a toilet and a sink.
yeah. And Gladys says basically you're an experiment. You're a worker for this company, which is what? What's the company name?
Oh gosh,
man, I can't remember now.
why did I fucking forget
Oh,
this?
it's so good too. It's so iconic. Damn it. So the
Just
company,
look it up.
you're like a worker for this company, and Gladys is your pseudo boss. She wakes you up to start doing experiments. So she wants you to go through these trials and see how fast you can get through these trials or if you can solve them whatsoever. Yeah, the first part of this, you're basically like being taught to crouch, to jump, to walk, to sprint, everything. So you're taught stuff. You go through the first part and she shows you like what the portal gun is. You get one part of the portal. You open up the receiving portal end and you're able to go through, and it's really fucking cool because when you look through the portal, you can actually see yourself standing on the other side of the portal.
Aperture.
Aperture sciences.
One of the cool things about this opening room, sorry for interrupting, but
How dare you?
one of the coolest things about this opening room is when you first wake up, there's a clock on the wall that says 1 minute and it starts counting down. And one of the coolest things is at exactly like 5 seconds, Gladys says, and the door will open in 3, 2, 1. And if you're looking at the clock, the clock hits 0 right as she says 0, or like right before she says 0, and the door opens right at 0.
Oh, nice.
I love when people are actually get the timing right in
I kinda
movies
hope
and
they got
TV
it
shows. Like, it's so awesome when
Yeah.
someone says like, in 16 minutes this will happen, and it
Yeah.
actually does happen in 16 minutes. This was like exact countdown. It was so cool.
I thought it would have been cooler if they got it wrong
No,
because she's crazy.
because she's lying.
Well, not just lying. Like, it seems like she's got a malfunction in her programming.
Yeah.
Right? That could have been the hint that it was a malfunction all along.
Maybe.
Like, that would have been a really cool, like, little Easter egg at the beginning of the game. Like, she's
Could've been.
1 second off or something, and you're like, she's a fucking computer. What? Like,
I guess that's true.
that would have been cool if they did that, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that they still did it exactly on time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go into your first room. You have to solve some puzzles. Basically, this whole game is just you solving puzzles.
Yeah, and I
then
think
we already
there's
talked about
19 puzzles.
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
Like that.
We already talked about most of the puzzles. Going through this, you solve puzzles, but the dialogue gets cooler. She
Yes.
lies to you. She at the end of your puzzle, she's like, "Congratulations, you have solved all the puzzles. Continue to stay on this moving platform to the party.
Yep.
There will definitely be a party. There will be cake."
Before we get to that, though, I'm going to talk about a couple. There's 2 different hidden rooms.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of them.
Yeah, there's 2 hidden rooms that say the cake is a lie.
Yeah,
and
all over the fucking walls.
Yes, I took screenshots of both of them, so I will add them to the video and I will put them on our Instagram or whatever as well. But these rooms are just really funny. There's a ton of writing all along it, and there's a bunch of things that's cake a lie. There's a bunch of other writings and stuff too about like don't trust her or like stuff like that.
Yeah. And you're going into these rooms, there's like cans of beans all over the floor and like water and like it's just crazy. Somebody like, and this isn't just one person.
No.
It seems like this is a bunch of people who got tested, who died at some point, and then the next person got a little bit farther and died, and like, but they all somehow escaped and got provisions.
Well, and it was kind of weird, and some of those aspects, and like some of the doors you could open, and some of the doors you couldn't, and you just kind of had to try. Yeah. And it never kind of gave you, and it never like when you went up to a door, it didn't say like press X to open. You just had to press X and see if you could open it. And one of the cool things too was so most of the time it just was a normal cube, but there was one level, I think it was like level like 16 or something like that, where you actually get a companion cube. And it's this cube that has a heart on it. Yeah. And once you get done with this mission, she opens up an incinerator and tells you to put the companion cube in the incinerator.
I was so sad. I was like, no, why? I've helped him so much. This is my best friend.
So yes, then we get to the whole thing where you find all the puzzles and you're on the conveyor belt, so you can go with
You're on this like conveyor belt thing. It's like a floating platform that just moves in a direction. And she's just saying like, there will be a party. There will be cake. You did so good. Don't leave the platform at all. Ha ha. Ha ha, ha ha. And then you're like going into this fire.
It's a giant fucking oven. Like
she's trying to kill you after you fucking completed this whole thing she wanted you.
Was a lie. Yeah. The cake is you, motherfucker.
Yeah. So you get to the end of that, and then there's like a part where you can portal up above it. And she's like, no, that was another test. It was a lie. Ha ha, ha ha. Haha, go back to the room, into the fire. It's not real fire. Like, she's just lying to you as you're climbing these staircases because you're like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
So now you're actually not in any of the testing places anymore. Now you're actually in the facility behind the scenes of it all.
And I know it sounds like we're skipping a lot, but literally, this is the first part of story you really get.
Yes.
Like, besides the extra rooms you get, this is the only part that has an actual story.
Unless we went ahead and like went onto each level until you had to complete each level, there's not any story on any of these levels.
It's crazy how long it took them to get to the story.
Yes.
But yeah, you have to climb stairs, basically. You're trying to get out.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of new puzzles that are just all...
And these puzzles are the ones where you actually have to... I feel like these ones are actually harder than the actual puzzles in the game. Like a lot of these things, like trying to figure out where to go, sometimes you're like, where do I go now? Yeah. And it was... Like, it's never too hard. Like, as long as you just keep moving, you can find where you need to go. And there's sometimes that you'll see, like, blood stains with, like, an arrow, like, this way!
Yeah. And the arrows... They're leading you out. They're trusty arrows. So you make it through and you do a bunch of different fucking puzzles and you get like to points where you learn a little bit more about what happened. Mm-hmm. So apparently Gladys had a malfunction and she, spread some kind of aerosol poison.
Yep.
Or not poison, I guess. Some kind of aerosol like reagent throughout the entire facility, killing everyone.
Yeah.
But they programmed her with something that stopped that.
Yes.
What's funny is you end up in a big boss fight where you have to defeat her, and you have to do it by like, how do you get her to stop doing something? You throw stuff at her, right?
So you have to. She has a turret that pops out of the ground. It shoots a rocket at you. You have to use portals to make the rocket hit her.
Really easy.
Really easy. And then
one of her balls, she's like a bunch of different balls.
Yes, so there's 3 different AI components inside of her, and they're all different, like Gladys faces.
Yeah.
There's anger, and a couple other emotions.
Yeah, and when you kill the first one, it's really funny because you kill it, and she's like, "Oh, now I know what that one did. It was the thing that stopped me from spreading the reagent to the whole facility. Thank you for removing it."
And then she starts putting the poisonous gas into the room, and you have
like 5 minutes, 5 minutes to get it done.
And then the second time you hit her with a rocket, she actually uses like this like force grab thing and grabs the AI mechanic that came out of her and throws it on top of this thing on top of her. So which, if you don't see it.
Yeah.
I got stuck the first time I did this boss fight because I didn't see where she put that.
Yeah, I was confused the first time. I'm like, am I supposed to somehow get up there? What the fuck?
And then you have to use your
the momentum
mechanics to jump and do that. And then the third time, it's
there's
just
an incinerator
randomly in the air.
randomly just in the fucking room.
Yeah.
And you throw her balls in the incinerator.
Yep. And so then, yes, once you get all 3 balls in the incinerator, it starts blowing up. She starts blowing up.
Yep.
It shows you, I think, lying on the ground outside.
Oh, and the incinerator is interesting because the button for it is really far away. So you have to put a portal down and then put a portal down right next to the incinerator.
Mm-hmm.
Press the button and go back and then throw the ball into the incinerator.
Because you have a short amount of time with the button.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that was always happened too. They had all these like buttons with timing and stuff. That
basically
you had to get done
20,
perfectly.
10-second timers, whatever.
Yeah.
Very short, but very manageable.
Oh, yeah.
And then you defeat her. She blows up pretty much. You make it like out of an elevator.
Yeah.
And then you go all the way up. So this is the weird thing that I read because I wanted to find out what kind of secrets were in the game. And you read about it. And this original ending, the original ending was you just made it out.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So they re-released the game or something and they reported it. They added an ending where you get knocked out and dragged back into the facility.
Oh, interesting.
So that's a new ending. That's not the original ending. And that was to set up for a new game. That's pretty much why they did that. Just to set up
I
for
played
next
the
game.
original ending.
Yeah. So then the new ending is you go in, you make it out, you're so happy, everything's great, and you make it out, and then something hits you in the head, drags you back into the facility, and puts you back into the cryo chamber.
Interesting.
And you find out it's Gladys because she's still alive, as the song entails at the credits.
Yes. So yeah, during the credits, it shows you like this warehouse and it's going through all of these like cabinets and stuff, and then all of a sudden there's like a bunch of lighting and stuff in the middle, and there's a cake in the middle.
A cake, and you're like, fuck you.
And you hear the I'm Still Alive song, and it's so fucking great.
God, it's so much fun. So yeah, that's the whole story.
Yeah, and like one of the conspiracy theories is that other people that went through the test and got turned into a cake, they were put inside the companion cubes. So like all the past test subjects are the companion cubes.
That's interesting.
And so that's one of the like stories with it.
Yeah, the second game gets a lot more in depth, but we're not going to talk about that too much because I want to play it.
The second one's actually co-op too.
Yeah. There's a co-op function.
Yep.
It's different from the main story
because you're playing as 2 robots.
Yeah.
And Gladys is a potato.
Yes, but we're not going to get too much into that. I don't want to talk too much about it because I want to actually play it for the podcast at some point.
You're fine.
But that's it. That's the whole game.
That's literally
that's it. This is a really short episode for this one.
Let's go into worth for now.
This is worth 100% worth. Play it. It's fucking hilarious. The mechanics are good. The game is good. The company that makes it is just one of the best.
Valve.
Yeah, it's one of the best companies. I mean, they made the Left 4 Dead games, the Half-Life games. They just do so much.
Yep.
They're so much fun. They're such a fun fucking company.
And they really do. They just make solid games.
I mean, think of Counter-Strike, right?
Seriously.
So that was originally a fucking Half-Life 2
it was a game type that somebody created, right? Like
it's
a multiplayer mod.
Yeah. For Half-Life.
Yeah.
And that's become one of the biggest fucking games of all time.
And now we got Counter-Strike Go, which is Global Offensive, which is one of the biggest EA shooters.
Yeah.
It's even bigger than Halo and Call of Duty, honestly.
Valve is an insane company who has just spawned so many fucking games. And they're just so good.
They really are.
Like Dota 2, I don't know if we talked about this before. I know they didn't do it, but that's a port of like Warcraft 3.
Yes.
So it's just cool that all these like big games like come out of just fucking
which is crazy because like these mods became these big games, and like last year alone, the prize money for Dota World Championship was $31 million.
That's
like
insane
what the
a
fuck?
Fucking video game for one team to get.
Yeah.
Probably half of that goes to like the management and shit, but
maybe. Yeah, I don't know exactly how that works out, but
it's really cool that these cool games like any Valve game. If you've never played a Valve game, fuck you. Go play one.
Seriously.
Go play Left 4 Dead.
Portal.
Go play Portal. Play Half-Life. Any Valve game.
It was funny because like me and Scott were talking about this, and he was like, "Have you played Portal yet?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll play it tonight." And then I texted him an hour and 51 minutes later. I was like, "I beat it 1 hour and 51 minutes." Oh, whoa!
Yeah. So there was one puzzle that like stooped me for a long time. It's that one where you have to open up the wall and then you have to.
Oh yeah.
So that one was the only one that stooped me, and I was 1 second away from looking it up, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look around, and then I didn't see the platform at the bottom, and I'm like, God damn it! You have to fucking jump down because I was wondering how do you get the fucking momentum going?
Yeah, that one is by far the hardest puzzle in that entire game, and I will hands down agree.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna say that this game is 100% worth. Like no matter I think even when it first came out, it was only like $20.
Yeah,
and I think most of the time you're gonna get it for $20 or $20 for it.
Yeah.
Like most time, like normal price is $10, and if you get it on sale, it's $5 or like $3.
It's completely full $60. This game is worth it, even if it's only 2 hours. It's just so much fun, and there's a bunch of extra stuff in it that you can look at.
Yeah,
I mean,
you did the extra puzzles and stuff, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you were
no,
okay.
I didn't. I never did the extra puzzles, but I really wanted to, but I decided not to.
Yeah,
but there's a bunch of extra stuff you can do, which is really cool about this game. So it's not just restricted to that 2 hours of story. You get a bunch of stuff. So if I would definitely say play this fucking game.
And I will say, if you enjoyed this, play the second one. I will say though, I don't have as much fun with the second one as I did the first one.
It is way funnier.
I think it is way funnier. Like the dialogue is so much better because you're actually holding Gladys the entire time.
Yeah.
But no, it's. I think it would be better probably co-op than it was. Because it was kind of meant for that.
I don't know. The co-op was really hard when I played it.
Oh, okay.
It was years ago, but I played it and I tried it and it was really hard. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
So this is Soul of a Gamer signing out.
Love you. Bye.